Lovely to
Oh,
see you.
and you? How
I
you
am
doing?
so excited to talk to you. I am honoured to be joined, albeit virtually, in the studio today by the Brit and Ivor Novello award-winning singer-songwriter and producer, the amazing Betty Boo. Lovely
Oh,
to have you this
hi.
afternoon. Thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thanks, Susie. Nice to meet you.
It's wonderful to have you. And my goodness me, what news we have got to share this afternoon. Can we start at the beginning, though, if that's okay? Now,
Of
I'd
course.
love to know where the name Betty Boo came from. Was it a school nickname?
Yeah. So when I was a teenager, I sort of experimented with my hair a little bit, and one time I dyed it red, and it looked awful. It was horrible, and I ruined it as well. So I cut it all off, and basically when it started growing back, it looked like Betty Boop, the cartoon character, because she
Oh,
had these little
wow.
curls around her face, and it was very, very short. And I had these because I hadn't grown properly yet. My eyes were like that. And, so
Oh, I
it was
love
a
that.
nickname. It was a nickname for me, a Betty, the actual Betty Boop. And then when I started rapping, I needed to have an MC name. So I thought I may as well call myself MC Betty Boo. And that was it.
Love
And
it.
it stuck. So when I made records, I just used the name.
So, do you feel like you're somebody different when you're Betty? Does it give you an extra ounce of confidence?
It does. It helps you step outside who you are and how. I mean, because I'm relatively quite shy, actually, believe it or not. So it helps to have a persona and to step outside who you are, and especially when you're writing as well, you can get lost into just the style. I mean, it does give you the confidence. You just think if your other brain is saying, "Oh, you can't say that," the other bit says, "Yes, you can."
Now, they say you have to be in the right place at the right time. And there is video evidence of your chance meeting with Professor Griff in McDonald's after you'd seen Public Enemy perform in Hammersmith. Now, you told him, of course, that you were a rapper and you burst into song, much to the restaurant manager's frustrations. You can see him in the YouTube clip getting a little bit
Yeah.
like, what's going on here? But you were just giving your best performance. Honestly, I was blown away. Incredible. You're carrying on and he's like, come on, get out of here, we don't want you in here, and you're being ushered out the door. It's absolutely brilliant. And then of
Yeah.
course you got invited to America to tour with the group. How was it
Mm.
to share the stage with your idols and of course be so far away from home, because you were only what, 17?
Oh gosh, yeah. So yes, we went to see the massive gig with Public Enemy, the Beastie Boys, Run DMC, and LL Cool J, and it was, yeah. So that this was our home. This was up the road from where we lived. So we'd seen it, we loved it. It was fantastic. And we're walking back home, walking past a McDonald's, and there were Professor Griff with all his S1Ws. So he had his guys that had just been on stage with Uzi guns, it's just, I mean, it must have looked quite daunting for people to see them walking down the street and stuff,
Yeah.
let alone in the McDonald's. So we said, oi, right. We're rappers as well. And they could tell we were rappers because we were dressed a certain way. And although there was, I wasn't quite so dressed like a rapper because I was wearing my nanny's cardigan because I had a cold. So I'm wearing
Right.
this cardigan that isn't very cool at all, but I
Well,
was
you
wearing
look
these
cool,
Adidas
you
high
look
tops.
amazing. Really, really good.
So yes, he asked us to do some rapping, and so I just started rapping, and he was doing the beatbox, and I think they were filming for their own little documentary because it was the first time they'd been to the UK. So they were doing tours everywhere, and that's how it's documented, and it's on YouTube.
It is.
And then we went out to America and toured with them, and they produced a record. And I would say, even though I was 17, I left in the middle of my A levels, which wasn't a cool thing to do, particularly. I know that.
But you
My
did
mum
it,
must be so
and
worried. Yeah.
look where you are. You're amazing.
So I
So
think of it as like an apprenticeship.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Life experience is really important, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you returned home And your breakthrough came when the Beatmasters, of course, asked you to rap on their clubbed up cover of Martha and the Vandellas, I Can't Dance to That Music You're Playing. And this saw your first of many performances on Top of the Hops. And of course, a top 10 hit under your belt. Must have been an incredible, incredible experience.
Well, it was, yeah. I mean, gosh, I suppose I gained some sort of credibility as a rapper in the scene. And yeah, so the Beatmasters knew about me, and they needed a vocalist for their new single, because they'd already been out, and they were the sort of the pioneers of like hip house and that sort of that genre that was around at that time. So they asked if I would go to the studio in Shoreditch in London, a place called the Strong Room, and they asked me to put a few verses in that they'd arranged for me to put some rap in, and they loved it, thankfully. And the next thing I knew, I was on Top of the Pops.
Amazing.
Yeah, wearing a Jean-Paul Gaultier gold jacket and prancing
gorgeous.
around. And
brilliant performance.
Yeah, so that was my first Top of the Pops. But that was surreal, because I grew up in West London, where the BBC Television Centre was. So often we would see people that had been at the BBC maybe walking around near Shepherd's Bush Market, and once I remember seeing Shawaddy Waddy. I mean, that's a blast from the past. Yeah. And me thinking, gosh, it's got their Shawaddy Waddy.
Yeah. Oh my goodness me. You must have got starstruck as much as they were getting starstruck at seeing you, like all the people in the audience, and must be amazing an experience.
Yeah, it was weird, and I was always taken aback by how small the studio was, because on the actual television, you think it's this huge place with loads of big platforms and stages, and actually they're tiny little podium stages, and there's about 10 or 15 people in the audience, where they just usher them around to make it look crowded.
Okay. Oh, you're giving away all the secrets. It's like magic. You see, it just looks so bustling, doesn't it? It really does feel like it's an amazing place to be. The atmosphere, everybody wanted to be in that audience in Top of the Pops with their kind of dad dancing kind of, I don't know what they were doing, but I love it.
No, it was a bit a little bit orcs. Yeah.
So I read that you bought a keyboard and a sampler from your royalties, and then you started writing songs in your bedroom, which is just incredible. And that's when Doing the Do emerged, which is, of course, your first solo UK top 10 hit. You also became a phenomenon in your own right. What advice could you give, though, to others who are currently making music in their bedroom? And there are lots of them.
Yeah, well, technology is a lot easier these days, whereas I had to go to a School of Sound Engineering to learn how to use my sampler and sequencer and everything. But it does give you all the freedom to be able to express yourself. And being a female artist back in the day, you really did have to rely on other people or grown-ups to help, to make music. But I just wanted to do it myself, and I thought, it is the best way. It means that you can find who you are as an artist, and here, and nowadays you could just put it up on YouTube, or it doesn't even have to be finished.
Yeah. Are you on TikTok?
I am on TikTok. I am about to be.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that in a minute, but that was one of my burning questions. So you did Doing the Do, which was amazing. And then you went on to release Where Are You Baby, which is, again, another top 10 hit from your debut album, Boomania. I've got a copy. And numerous appearances, of course, on Top of the Pops. Not only that, though, on the cover of my favourite magazine, Smash Hits, and NME. And, of course, your Brit Award for the Best British Newcomer. And Madonna being a fan of yours, my goodness me, my queen. And of course, you were a pin-up on many, many bedroom walls, I am sure. In fact, my husband says, yep, Betty was on my bedroom wall. Did you enjoy being in the limelight? You said earlier you're quite shy, but was there some that you really did enjoy? Or
I was just in the moment at the time. You just didn't really question anything. You just I mean, doing lots of smash hit covers and pieces, and even the NME piece that you mentioned, in those days, the NME traveled with me. They had a whole team of people get on the plane. We went to Chicago, and very glamorous days.
Yeah, my goodness.
I know. And yeah, so I think you just sort of got, I mean, I didn't believe my own hype. I definitely didn't. I used to still think that I was sort of getting away with stuff, you know, had that sort of intruder syndrome or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think only recently, I think I've actually just, because coming out and doing a new record and listening and reading to people's comments and stuff about what impact that music had on them and where they were, and you know, there's some girls that have written to me and said, oh, you just made nobody else look like me, because I'm Eurasian, I'm half Scottish, half Malaysian. Nobody looked at you, nobody looked like us, so you sort of brought it to the party, and with your hair and your girl power and that kind of stuff. So
definitely the first girl power, and bringing in the bob, didn't you? And and those outfits, the silver, absolutely gorgeous. A bit of leopard print. I thought I'd better put some on today because I remember that.
Yeah, I've got to buy some more because I'm in tracksuits more these days because I play a lot of tennis, you see.
Okay, yeah, get some more outfits. So you went on to release the second album, which is called Grr, It's Betty Boo, which was in 1992. And then you mostly retired from the public eye. So obviously the good news is that after 30 years, you are back. And I have to say, you are sounding absolutely incredible. It's a real, I want to call it like an irresistible sound of pop perfection. Tell us, please, about your brand new single, which I adore.
Thank you for that. That's lovely. Well, it's... I wrote it with I've written a whole album, actually 2 albums. In the meantime. Yes. Just doing the finishing. Yeah, I'm doing we'll get onto that if you like. Just finishing up on that actually this week and stuff. So so I would during the lockdown I was writing this with my co-producer and co-writer Andy, and we managed to get to track 11, and we completed it, really happy. But it was an intensive way of working because I was working at home and recording and editing, and then sending everything to him, and he would send stuff back to me, and then that's how we worked. And it was great because we were able to be creative and everything. And anyway, so we got to the point where we needed to write track 12. And by that time, we were thinking, oh God, what we're going to write about, you know. And we thought, well, actually, you know, every day just seems like the same, and the weekends definitely don't feel like a Saturday or a Friday. So
every day
came up with this,
isn't it?
Yeah, it was. And so we just thought, wouldn't it be lovely to get us to the weekend? Let's get to the weekend. And so it evolved from there. So that we wrote the song in its entirety, and it was a great pop song as it was. And when the rules were relaxed a little bit and you could see people, we went to the studio and we hung out, we just had a great time, we were listening to loads of music, and we listened back to our stuff as well that we'd recorded. And we both thought, oh my God, you know what would work really well in this? The Love Action by Human League.
The sample is great.
Yeah, so we plonked it in there just for a bit of fun to see, you know, just mucking around, and then it just it was like magic. It brings that
nostalgia as well, doesn't it? It's just wonderful. I think you've worked a treat on this piece. It's absolutely fab. Really, really love it.
Thank you.
You've just answered my question, the fact that there is new music coming, and the whole album. In fact, you spoilt me because you said 2 albums. Oh my goodness me. Now, please, can you really make our dreams come true and tell us that there is going to be a UK tour?
Well, there will be eventually,
yeah. And please say you're going to come to Lincoln.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely.
It would be amazing. We'd love to have you. Be welcome with warm arms, opening arms. Please do come and see us here in Lincoln. It would be amazing.
Oh, absolutely. I plan to, what I'd like, because I set up my own record label,
okay,
so I can do things with it the way I want to do them. And what I want to do is release 2 more singles, and maybe 3, we'll see, and then have the album out early summer. So I'll be ready to perform it all then. And
Yay.
I'll probably do some festivals and things like that. And but I've got, I'm sort of starting again, really. So
Yeah.
it
Have you
feels
noticed?
a bit.
Sorry.
No, I'm saying it doesn't. It feels like I'm starting again,
Mm.
and but I've got a lot of work to do. But I'm really up for it, and I just when I was. I basically I was approaching my 50th birthday, and I just thought I really need to do this before. I'm just it's now or never, really.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying my best life right now, and
Oh,
it's never too late
amazing.
for anybody, honestly.
It's lovely to see that you're back and you're doing this and you're still out there and creating, and I'm assuming your creative juices were still running the whole time that you've not been sort of in the public eye.
Writing for other people and working with different artists and different producers. I spent a lot of time in Los Angeles working with some of the big hitters, which was a great experience, actually, because they write so differently out there. And some producers just you start from scratch and you actually write and produce the record at the end of the day by 5 o'clock. It's a mental way of working, but
Wow.
yeah. And I found it quite stressful, actually, because it was like it sort of took the love and fun out of everything. But
Yeah.
I'm glad I did it, because it showed me that, taught me a lot, actually, about how to, and songwriting generally as well. What there is an art to writing pop music, and making sure the moments come in the right place. And
Mm.
it's not something, it's not an easy thing to do, I say, but if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, wouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, definitely. And I've got one last question, if you don't mind me asking. In
No?
1991, there was a Smash Hits yearbook, and you gave 3 top tips on becoming a rap star. Do you remember them? Number 1, don't look like any other pop star. Number 2, wear a tough leather short suit. And number 3, go back to being a sap after about 5 minutes. Now, the question is, after 30 years, do you still stand by these top tips?
Oh, gosh, it's so funny, isn't it? I was just probably put on the spot and I didn't know what to say.
Do you know
Yes,
what?
I think
I'm all for the leather shorts. Get them
yeah.
out.
I think they all those rules do apply.
Yeah.
I mean, these days I'm in tennis shorts rather than leather shorts. But yeah, definitely. And gosh, going back to being a sap, that's a funny thing to say, isn't it?
I love that.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it's really, really good. They work. It still works now. And of course, you can be a sap over on TikTok. So
Yeah.
you must have noticed a massive change in the 30 years, because obviously now you've got to get into all the social media platforms, the YouTubing, so many different ways of streaming the music. I mean, it's not like now we go into Woolies and buy your single like we used to. It's all completely changed. So it's a whole new set of rules and a whole new audience, of course. Of course,
Yeah.
your original audience will still be stuck with you, but it must be a massive change.
It is, yeah, lots of things have changed, and I'm learning every day different things, and I wish I'd like a little handbook to find out what to do. And but yeah, I mean, it's changing, and I think record company is going to be extinct soon because of the way things are going. And in fact, I've set up my own record label, and at first I thought, should I do that? But actually, all the young artists are doing that, like Dave, and it's the way forward, because it means you could just take control over what you're doing, and in fact, that's kind of and that kind of is what I did in the first place, and that suits me down to the ground. And if I can just make music for just a few fans that really love what I do, that's why I'm doing it, and I'm doing it for myself as well.
That's really important. You've got to do it for yourself.
Absolutely. And it's not because
it.
I don't think you even earn that much money from making records these days, unless you go out and play live. So it's not about the money or anything. It's about just making sure you feel like you've done everything you can do in your life, and you're still you know, keeping things fresh all the time.
Yeah, definitely. It just leaves me to say thank you so much for chatting with us today. It's been absolutely wonderful. It's amazing, honestly, to have you back. And good luck with the single. Absolutely can't wait to hear more from you. Looking forward to the album. Please keep us up to date when it's coming. And would you do us the honours of introducing your track, please?
Oh, thank you. So this is Get Me to the Weekend by me, Betty Boo.
Yay! Thank you. Honestly, it's been amazing. It's been lovely to chat with you.
Oh, it's been lovely chatting to you. Thank you for having me.